Hey, good day to you. This is Jeff Hansen. I am in Northern California, beautiful Silicon Valley.
And this is Arvin Paredes coming to you live from Los Angeles, California.
And Arvin, I am glad that you're live. I forget I did not say I am live as well. Arvin, we have a fabulous topic today, as you know, which is cold calling. Cold calling.
Not warm calling.
I don't want to scare you, but it is cold calling. Or as and actually this is super timely because I know you were literally just cold calling minutes ago. Like up until this call, that's what you were doing. I was 2 days ago, and you literally just were. But I'll add one thing before. I want to hear a little bit from you, and that is I read a great book called well, anyway, it's about prospecting, and he called it when you interrupt someone. Don't just say you're interrupting someone. You have to interrupt people, and you have to get over being not being afraid of interrupting people. So why don't you lead us off?
Okay. Well, I've been consistently cold calling for, gosh, I mean, the amount of calls that I'm making now is very different from the amount of calls that I was making last year. And I've just been hearing through different kind of seminars and classes that, real estate is a contact sport. Did you know that? It's a contact sport. And if you want to get listings, you have to meet or talk to homeowners, right? And so cold calling is something that I felt like I think I could do okay at because while there is a fear of talking to strangers on the phone, there's also a fear of talking to people at the door when I used to door knock. But over the phone, I felt like I could just get through a lot more numbers quickly, and just kind of, I felt like that I'd have an okay tone on the phone with a stranger too. So through all the calling, I've gotten much more confidence, and yeah, it's kind of like my go-to source for connecting with sellers.
Right on. In fact, you just had an interesting experience today. You're telling me, right, about someone who owns multiple properties.
Yeah, I spoke to this woman, and she owns two homes in Santa Monica, and she owns one home in Miami, and she goes back and forth for work, partly for work, but mostly for vacation. We didn't have like a super long conversation, but we had a really great talk about the market of what's happening in Santa Monica. I gave her a little update of what's going on, asked her if she was interested in selling either of those places, and she said not right now, but she said what is going on, in my neighborhood. So I gave her, yeah, a little rundown with some statistics, and then I told her that I do send out a report every once in a while to the neighbors, in the neighborhood, to let them know what is going on as far as just homes that are selling and how long it's taking for homes to sell, and kind of sales to list price ratio.
Hey, so what was your script? Just to make it time, what was your script you used when you called her just now?
Yeah, I would go with, I'd dial the number, and then I'd say their name. I'd say, "Hi, Elvira." Her name was Elvira,
Uh-huh.
and I said, "Hi, Elvira," and she said, first, the funny thing is she said, "Hey, Brandon," and it was kind of windy, and I was like, "Oh, hey, I'm sorry, I'm not Brandon. I think you've got the wrong person, but I am reaching out because I'm a neighborhood realtor in Santa Monica, and I'm just giving you a call just to let you know that we're working with buyers right now, looking to move into the neighborhood, and I was just curious if you thought about selling your home." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I was expecting a call, but yeah, it's windy here, so I couldn't really hear." But she's like, "Well, I actually have two places there in Santa Monica, and I'm here in Miami right now. I don't plan on selling those two right now, but can you kind of let me know what's going on right now?" So kind of went into that whole conversation, told her that I can keep her up to date with what's going on in the neighborhood, and just asked for her, what's your best email address, and she was more than willing to give it. And so I'll be staying in touch with her because you just never know if she when she's going to want to sell these two places. So
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. And just as a background, both you and I are using as a source Cole Realty, which
yeah.
costs some money, but research I've done before is that it's the most complete. They also have cell numbers. It's not
Mm-hmm.
perfect. Sometimes, like so you get people that don't own or something, but a lot of them are accurate. And it's I think they're one of the only ones that has quite a few cell numbers. They have a lot of emails too, you do different things with it. But you and I are really both doing the same thing. This is not that's not all I'm doing, but a portion of my time I'm spending cold calling as well. Can I
Hmm.
tell you a story, Arvin?
Yeah, sure.
I have gray hair, so this is a long time ago. My first brokerage was called ERA Real Estate, which is barely around anymore. But the broker I was at, they had a Team Tuesday call night once a month. It was like the second Tuesday of the month. They encouraged everybody to call, and they did national advert ads. So the idea was and it was at night. You call, and then they saw an ERA commercial, then you called, and it was really just a way to encourage agents to get on the phone and call whoever, but encourage them to cold call. Back then, we used the crisscross directory, and the cool thing about that was that we all got together in the office and everybody did it. So it's harder to create your own energy there. Most offices don't have anything like that anymore. Actually, the first time I did it, I was with a mentor, and I was listening to him take a call. He called this woman and said, have you ever thought about selling? She said, they're going to carry me out of here in a pine box. He said, well, let me order it now. What size are you? And she died laughing, ha 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 ha. But he had quite a few good conversations, and it's more of a numbers game than a warm call, obviously. But there really are people. I've had a lot of good experiences from the same thing, from cold calling. And one of the questions people have is time of day, like that's who to call. People that own. And then some people ask, what's the best time to call? What's your
Yeah.
thought on that?
I think that probably getting it out of the way, not out of the way, but starting as early as possible. I'd say for me, after by like 9 a.m., you should be gearing up to make your first call. I don't like to call any earlier than that because I just feel like people are probably getting on their way to work or they're just getting their morning going. So I like to just call a little after 9. But I like to also call in the afternoon because I feel like a lot of people probably don't have a lot going on in the afternoon when they're just kind of going through work and stuff. And I mean, they might be going through meetings, but I've been having some good success calling, getting in touch with people both in the morning and the afternoon. And I think it's good to split up your session so you just don't get burnt out. I
Yeah,
was kind of
yeah.
on like a 2.5, 3 hour session right now this afternoon. And after we're done here, I'll probably squeeze out another hour. But yeah, I think honestly, just for most people, I think it's just getting on the phones and doing it, right? It's not,
Yeah, what I heard once is the best time to call is whenever you will call. Whenever you will
yeah,
call is the best time to call. I've heard different research that a block in the morning is good, like 4 to 6 in the afternoon. You get more people to pick up. I found that to be true. I've also researched I do some online lead generation, and they said you get more people to pick up the phone on the weekends. But the bottom line
yep,
is whenever there's no bad time to call. I mean, midnight's bad. After hours is not good, but whenever you'll actually call people is a good time to call because you'll get people to pick up, right? Do you
yeah.
leave messages?
I don't, not anymore. No, because I just want to actually just get through to the next number, the quickest way.
Yeah, I've read the same thing, that the I stopped doing that a while ago because the amount of people that call back is so slim. And if you don't leave a message, there's a certain percent of people that will call you back. They see a missed number and they will call back
Right.
to see if it's something important or whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, making that first call is probably, I think, on any day, just knocking on that first door, making that first call is the toughest one to get out of the way. And the reason why it is good to do it in the morning is because your willpower is the highest in, at the beginning of the day. I can feel it drop off. Like right now, my willpower to prospect for another hour is dropping off.
Right.
And for most people too, like we've heard over and over again, a lot of things haven't really gone wrong for people in the morning, so they shouldn't, a lot of times they probably won't have a bad attitude towards you over the phone. And you know what, out of all these calls that I've been making, there's only been maybe like one or two rude people that I can kind of remember where they've made kind of a little bit of a fuss. But even then, they'll just, if they're not interested, they'll just say they're not interested, or they'll just kind of cut you off and hang up or something. And honestly, it's a lot less painful than being at the door.
Really. I
Yeah.
found, yeah, I think there's attraction to both. But the good thing about calling is you can get so many in and you can do it wherever you are. And it's all, it's just unlimited. I mean, you can just keep calling it. There's way more people in whatever town you're in than you could ever probably get through. And you could cycle back through people again, right? I mean, it's just unlimited supply, and there you'll get people. Now it's key to have some kind of good follow-up system, because like the lady you talk to, they're not always, I mean, we're obviously looking for people that have a need, like, oh, I was just thinking about selling, right? But a
Yeah.
lot of the people, oh, a year from now, 2 years from now, I'll never sell, but yeah, I'll get information, because the people that say they're never going to sell, they're the ones that sell next year.
Yeah.
And if they don't have a strong connection with an agent, then that's your in for sure. I also love what you actually, two things I want about what you were talking about. We were talking about this before we got on here. Was that this woman complimented you, which was great.
Yeah, she said, you know, you have a really good demeanor on the phone. I think you're gonna do very well. And you know, obviously, she doesn't know how long I've been in real estate. She doesn't know how long I've been selling properties. But I said, "Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that." I said, you're really easy to talk to, and hopefully, we'll get to talk again in the future."
Well, the other little bit of feedback for this educational is when you just went through your script earlier, that probably is how you actually sound on the phone. And what I loved about it was you didn't rush, but you weren't too slow either. Some people, when they're nervous, they say, "Oh, hey, this is Jim Bob Joe." You can't understand what they're saying. And whatever your normal speech pattern is, usually people have to slow down so people can actually hear what you're saying, right? And you kind of want to rush through in case there's rejection, but just stick with it. This is Jeff Jansen, ABC Realty, blah blah blah. And so you had a great, not too fast, nice and well measured. So
I'm naturally a fast talker, so I do have to speak clearly to get through that beginning part of the script, and I want them to hear who I am, just so that they don't ask again, "Wait a minute, who is this? Who are you with?" Because I want them to understand who I am. And if
that
they're
happens
gonna
a lot
hang,
at the
and
door too.
if they're gonna hang up, they're gonna hang up on me anyways,
Right,
right?
right.
So
No need
yeah,
to rush.
no,
No need to rush. Well, everybody's listening to this. Happy cold calling. The magic is in just doing it. And there's so many things you get into, exactly what script or something, what time to call, who to call. Bottom line is get on the phone with someone and talk to them. Almost whatever your script is, you're better off doing something than nothing for sure.
yep.
So that would be our strong encouragement. Talk to people. Any last thoughts?
Yeah, I think, you know, just don't get in your head so much. Just know what your script is and just start dialing.
And the last thing I would leave with, yeah, don't get in your head, just do it. And ask a lot of questions, right? You're going to have to
Mm-hmm.
intro with your thing, but after that, try and ask them some questions and get them opening up a little bit more. How long have you lived there? If you ever were going to move, where would you go? What do you love about the neighborhood? Tell me a little bit about your house. Oh, I'm just curious, where do you work?
Yeah, and
Right.
have those scripts. You can have them right in front of you. I have my scripts right here next to my computer, you know, right in front of my face when I'm making these calls. So I just know which questions to move to.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes it simple.
Yeah. And I like that. I like to be question based. And then they say, well, yeah, I don't want what you're selling. Well, I'm not selling anything. I'm just asking some questions, see if I even could. I don't even know if I could help you. Right. That's kind of my attitude. I'm just seeing if I can be of assistance. I'm coming with love in the world and seeing if I can be of assistance. So very good. We'll wrap this up. Make it rain.
All right.